So in this video, we're going to find the exact value of each of the following under the given conditions. So here are the conditions, okay? And so I want to find first, I want to find the cosine of alpha, okay? All right, so what do I know about alpha? Well, alpha looks like it's restricted to quad 2. Okay, so I know when I draw a picture, when I draw this picture here, I know I'm in quadrant 2. Now, sine theta, or sine of alpha here, so that's my alpha angle. Sine is going to be sine alpha is 4 over 5, which is y over r. Sine is y over r. So that tells me that my distance between that origin and the dot is 5, and my y value is a positive 4. So on my little triangle, that's a 4 there. So I need to figure out what x is if I'm going to find the cosine. So that cosine right there, okay? So how in the world am I going to do that? Let's see here. Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that tells me x squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. So what do I have? I got x squared plus 16 equals 25. Subtract 16 from both sides. X squared is 9. Now when I take the square root, x is equal to plus or minus 3. So which one do we pick? Well, if I'm on the negative axis, x-axis, then x needs to be the negative 3, okay? So the cosine of alpha is what is it? It's x over r, which is negative 3 over 5. Okay, so my answer, cosine of alpha, equals negative 3/5. Okay? For the next one, let's see. Let me make this a little bit smaller so I'll have a little bit more room. Well, maybe not. Okay, let me move these conditions. Let me move these conditions down. I'll just write them again. Okay, so for B, let's find the cosine of beta. Okay, the cosine of beta. All right, so this one right here, this is in quadrant 3. Quadrant 3, so I know my dot's going to be somewhere down here. All right, so they tell me that the sine of beta is negative 2 over square root 5, which sine is y over r. Okay, so I know r can't be negative, so the y value, if you think about it, y is less than 0 here, so going down a negative 2, and then hypotenuse is 5. So really, I got to figure out my x again. Okay, so how do I do this? Pythagorean theorem, negative 2 squared plus x squared equals square root 5 squared. So that's 4 plus x squared equals 5. Subtract 4, x squared equals plus or minus 1. Well, if x is less than 0, since we're going this way, that tells me, since I'm in the third quadrant, that x needs to be negative 1. So the cosine of beta is x over r, which is negative 1 over square root of 5. Now, if you want to rationalize the denominator, you can multiply top and bottom by square root 5 and get negative square root 5 over 5. Bingo. All right. C is the cosine of alpha plus beta. Now, what do we know? Okay, we've actually calculated the cosine of alpha, and we've calculated the cosine of beta in the previous problems. So cosine of beta, we just found negative square root 5 over 5. Cosine of alpha is negative 3 over 5. Okay? So using the sum identity for cosine, this becomes cosine alpha cosine beta minus sine alpha sine beta. And so cosine alpha is negative 3/5, cosine beta, negative square root 5 over 5. And then these were told to us, that's just negative, and then we have the 4/5, and then multiplied by sine of beta, which we were told was negative 2 over square root 5. And so when I multiply that out, what do I get? I get negative and negative make a positive, 3 square root 5 over 25. And then if I do a negative negative, I get another positive, and that's going to be 8 over 5 square root 5. But if I multiply top and bottom by square root 5, this actually rationalizes. So I have 3 square root 5 over 25 plus 8 square root 5 over 25. This combines to make 5, and then 5 times 5, so you're 25 right there. So that's 11 square root 5 over 25 for your answer there. And then we've got one more problem. I want to do the sine of alpha plus beta. To do this, I just use the addition formula, sine alpha cosine beta plus cosine alpha sine beta. Okay, so I just use what I know. I've got 4/5, negative square root 5 over 5, plus negative 3/5, and then negative 2 square root 5 over 5. Okay, I just went ahead and rationalized this thing right here. All right, so for that last one. So when I multiply through, I get negative 4 square root 5 over 25, and then plus plus 6 square root 5 over 25. So that gets me 2 square root 5 over 25 as my final answer. Okay? Good luck.